Are you ready to prove your skills in the rapidly evolving world of AI development? Standard coding interviews are changing, and AI-specific challenges are the new benchmark. In this video, we will cover AI coding challenges, practice questions and answers, certification prep. Master the AI coding challenges certification with this comprehensive practice guide. In this video, we break down 30 comprehensive practice questions covering the core domains of AI coding, from machine learning implementation to LLM orchestration and prompt engineering. Before we dive in, make sure you have a notebook ready. Try to solve each challenge before I reveal the explanation. When implementing a linear regression model from scratch, which of the following is the correct update rule for gradient descent? Where alpha is the learning rate? Option A, theta equals theta plus alpha asterisk gradient. Option B, theta equals theta, alpha asterisk gradient. Option C, theta equals gradient, alpha asterisk theta. Option D, theta equals alpha, theta, gradient. The correct answer is B. The goal of gradient descent is to minimize the cost function by moving in the opposite direction of the gradient. The gradient represents the direction of steepest ascent. Therefore, to find the local minimum, we subtract the gradient, scaled by the learning rate alpha, from the current weight parameters, theta. Option A would lead to gradient ascent, which maximizes the function, and options C and D do not follow the standard mathematical optimization formula for weight updates. In machine learning, in the context of text preprocessing, what is the primary difference between stemming and lemmatization? Option A, stemming uses a dictionary, lemmatization uses rules. Option B, stemming is faster but can produce non-dictionary words. Lemmatization is slower but produces valid words. Option C, lemmatization removes stop words. Stemming does not. Option D, stemming converts text to lowercase. Lemmatization removes punctuation. The correct answer is B. Stemming is a heuristic process that chops off the ends of words in the hope of achieving the goal correctly most of the time. E.g., studies becomes studi. Lemmatization, however, uses a vocabulary and morphological analysis of words to return the base or dictionary form of a word, known as the lemma. E.g., studies becomes study. Because lemmatization requires more complex linguistic processing and dictionary lookups, it is computationally more expensive than the simple rule-based approach of stemming. You are training a deep neural network and notice that the training loss is decreasing, but the validation loss is increasing. Which technique would best address this? Option A, increasing the number of layers. Option B, increasing the learning rate. Option C, adding dropout layers. Option D, removing data from the training set. The correct answer is C. The scenario described is a classic case of overfitting, where the model learns the noise and specific details of the training data rather than the general patterns, leading to poor performance on unseen validation data. Dropout is a regularization technique that randomly drops out sets to zero a fraction of neurons during training. This prevents neurons from co-adapting too much and forces the network to learn more robust features that generalize better. Increasing layers A would likely worsen overfitting, and increasing the learning rate B could cause the model to diverge. What is the purpose of the temperature parameter when generating text with an LLM? Option A, it controls the maximum number of tokens in the output. Option B. It adjusts the randomness of the output by scaling the logits before softmax. Option C. It sets the hardware temperature of the GPU for safety. Option D. It determines the memory usage of the transformer model. The correct answer is B. Temperature is a hyperparameter used to control the randomness of predictions by a generative model. A lower temperature, e.g., 0.1, makes the model more deterministic and confident, as it heavily favors the most likely next token. A higher temperature, e.g., 0.8 or 1.0, flattens the probability distribution across all possible tokens, leading to more diverse, creative, and sometimes unpredictable outputs. It works by dividing the logits, raw output values, by the temperature value before the softmax function is applied. In a convolutional neural network, CNN, what is the primary role of a pooling layer? Option A. To increase the number of channels in the feature map. Option B. To perform nonlinear activation like ReLU. Option C. To reduce the spatial dimensions, width and height, of the input volume. Option D. To flatten the matrix into a single vector. The correct answer is C. Pooling layers, such as max pooling or average pooling, are used to downsample the spatial dimensions of the feature maps. This serves several purposes. It reduces the computational load by decreasing the number of parameters. It helps the model become invariant to small translations in the input image. And it helps prevent overfitting. It does not change the number of channels. That is typically handled by the number of filters in a convolutional layer. Which of the following describes data bias in an AI system? Option A. The model's inability to run on mobile devices. Option B. Inaccuracies caused by the training data not being representative of the real-world population. Option C. The encryption method used to secure the database. Option D. The speed at which the model processes inference requests. The correct answer is B. Data bias occurs when the source data used to train a machine learning model is skewed or lacks representation of certain groups. For example, if a facial recognition system is trained primarily on images of one ethnicity, it will likely perform poorly on others. This leads to unfair outcomes. Bias is an inherent quality of the data, whereas variance refers to how the model's prediction changes with different training sets. Addressing data bias is a critical part of ethical AI development. Which prompt engineering technique involves providing a few examples of input-output pairs to help the model understand the task? Option A. Zero-shot prompting. Option B. Chain of thought, COT, prompting. Option C. Few-shot prompting. Option D. Iterative refinement. The correct answer is C. Few-shot prompting is the practice of providing a small number of examples, usually 1 to 5, within the prompt to guide the LLM's response format or logic. This is highly effective for complex tasks where the model might fail with zero-shot. No examples. Instructions. Chain of thought is different as it focuses on making the model show its reasoning steps, though COT can be combined with few-shot examples. What is one-hot encoding used for in machine learning pipelines? Option A. Normalizing numerical values between 0 and 1. Option B. Converting categorical text data into a binary numerical format. Option C. Compiling the model for faster execution. Option D. Splitting data into training and testing sets. The correct answer is B. Most machine learning algorithms cannot work with categorical text data, like red, blue, green, directly. One hot encoding creates a new binary column for each unique category. For instance, red would become 1, 0, 0, blue, 0, 1, 0, etc. This prevents the model from assuming an incorrect mathematical ordering between categories, which might happen if you just used integers like 1, 2, 3. If you have a highly imbalanced dataset where 99% of samples are Class A and 1% are Class B, which metric is least useful? Option A, precision. Option B, recall. Option C, F1 score. Option D, accuracy. The correct answer is D. Accuracy is misleading for imbalanced datasets. If a model simply predicts Class A for every single input, it would achieve 99% accuracy but would be completely useless at identifying Class B. Precision, recall, and the F1 score, the harmonic mean of precision and recall, are much better metrics because they focus on the performance of the minority class and the quality of the positive predictions. What does the ADAM optimizer combine to improve training efficiency? Option A, stochastic gradient descent and dropout. Option B, momentum and RMS prop. Option C, L1 and L2 regularization. Option D, batch normalization and max pooling. The correct answer is B. ADAM, adaptive moment estimation, is an optimization algorithm that leverages the benefits of two other extensions of stochastic gradient descent, adaptive gradient algorithm, ADA-GRAD, and root mean square propagation, RMS prop. Specifically, it uses momentum to speed up the gradient descent by taking into account the past gradients, and RMS prop to adapt the learning rate for each parameter. This makes it very robust for many deep learning tasks. In a RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, system, what is the role of the vector database? Option A, to fine-tune the LLM weights on new data. Option B, to store and retrieve document embeddings based on semantic similarity. Option C, to translate code from Python to C++. Option D, to serve as the primary user interface. The correct answer is B. RAG enhances LLMs by retrieving relevant information from external data sources. The vector database stores documents as high-dimensional vectors, embeddings. When a query is made, the system converts the query into a vector and performs a similarity search in the database to find the most relevant context, which is then passed to the LLM. This allows the LLM to answer questions about specific, private, or recent data without retraining. Which activation function is most commonly used in the hidden layers of modern deep networks to mitigate the vanishing gradient problem? Option A, sigmoid. Option B, tanh. Option C, ReLU, rectified linear unit. Option D, softmax. The correct answer is C. Sigmoid and tanh functions saturate for high and low values, meaning their derivatives become very close to zero, causing gradients to vanish during backpropagation. ReLU, F, X, equals max 0. X has a constant gradient of 1 for all positive inputs, which helps gradients flow more easily through many layers. Softmax is typically used only in the output layer for multi-class classification. In the pandas library, which function is used to handle missing values by filling them with a specific value? Option A, dropna. Option B, fillna. Option C, replace. Option D, isna. The correct answer is B. The fillna method in pandas allows you to replace nan, not a number, or null values with a specific constant, the mean of the column, or using a method like forward fill. Dropna removes rows or columns with missing values entirely, and isna only detects the presence of missing values without changing them. What is the primary difference between exploration and exploitation in reinforcement learning? Option A. Exploration is for training. Exploitation is for testing. Option B. Exploration tries new actions to find rewards. Exploitation uses known actions that yield high rewards. Option C. Exploration is used in supervised learning. Exploitation is for unsupervised. Option D. Exploration reduces bias. Exploitation reduces variance. The correct answer is B. The exploration-exploitation trade-off is a core concept in RL. Exploration involves the agent trying out new, unfamiliar actions to discover more about the environment and potentially find better rewards. Exploitation involves choosing the best-known action to maximize the immediate reward. Finding the right balance is crucial for an agent to perform optimally over time. Which architecture is specifically designed to handle sequential data and maintain state over time? Using gates. Option A. CNN. Option B. LSTM. Long short-term memory. Option C. MLP. Multi-layer perceptron. Option D. GAN. Generative adversarial network. The correct answer is B. LSTM is a type of recurrent neural network, RNN, designed to solve the vanishing gradient problem in standard RNNs. It uses 3 gates: input, forget, and output gates to regulate the flow of information. This structure allows the network to remember important information over long sequences and forget irrelevant data, making it ideal for time series and natural language tasks. What is model drift or concept drift in a production AI environment? Option A. When the model's code is accidentally modified in the repository. Option B. When the statistical properties of the target variable change over time, making the model less accurate. Option C. When the model takes longer to run as more users access it. Option D. When a model is moved from a local machine to a cloud server. The correct answer is B. Model drift occurs when the relationship between the input data and the target prediction changes over time due to external factors, e.g., changes in consumer behavior or economic shifts. Because the model was trained on old patterns, its performance degrades on new data. This necessitates regular monitoring and retraining of production models. Which of the following is an example of an unsupervised learning task? Option A. Predicting house prices based on features. Option B. Classifying emails as spam or not spam. Option C. Grouping customers into segments based on purchasing behavior. Option D. Identifying handwritten digits 0 to 9. The correct answer is C. Unsupervised learning involves finding hidden patterns or structures in data that does not have labeled outputs. Customer segmentation, clustering, is a classic example where the algorithm finds groups without being told what the groups are beforehand. Options A, B, and D are all supervised learning tasks because they involve predicting a known label or value. What is the purpose of batch normalization? Option A, to increase the training time to ensure better accuracy. Option B, to normalize the activations of each layer to stabilize and accelerate training. Option C, to reduce the size of the dataset by grouping samples. Option D, to ensure that the model only uses integer values for weights. The correct answer is B. Batch normalization normalizes the output of a previous activation layer by subtracting the batch mean and dividing by the batch standard deviation. This addresses the problem of internal covariate shift, allowing for higher learning rates, faster convergence, and a slight regularization effect that can reduce the need for dropout. In the transformer architecture, what does the attention mechanism specifically allow the model to do? Option A, ignore all words except the verbs. Option B, process tokens one by one in a chronological sequence. Option C, relate different positions of a single sequence to compute a representation of the sequence. Option D, compress the entire text into a single integer. The correct answer is C. Self-attention, the core of the transformer, allows the model to look at other words in the input sequence to get a better encoding for the word it is currently processing. For example, in the sentence "the animal didn't cross the street because it was too tired," attention allows the model to link it to animal rather than street. This enables parallelization and better handling of long-range dependencies compared to RNNs. Which Python library is the industry standard for high-level array manipulations and mathematical operations? Option A, Flask. Option B, Beautiful Soup. Option C, NumPy. Option D, Requests. The correct answer is C. NumPy, numerical Python, is the foundational library for scientific computing in Python. It provides support for large, multidimensional arrays and matrices, along with a collection of high-level mathematical functions to operate on these arrays. Most other AI libraries, like scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and PyTorch, are built on top of NumPy. What is the kernel trick in support vector machines, SVM? Option A, a method to speed up the hardware execution. Option B, a way to transform data into a higher dimensional space to find a linear separator without explicitly calculating the coordinates. Option C, a technique to reduce the number of features in the dataset. Option D, a specific way to initialize the weights of the model. The correct answer is B. The kernel trick allows SVMs to solve nonlinear problems by implicitly mapping input data into high-dimensional feature spaces, instead of performing the expensive transformation and then calculating the dot product. A kernel function calculates the dot product in the high-dimensional space directly from the original vectors. This makes it possible to find a linear hyperplane that separates data that was non-linearly separable in its original form. What is the IOU intersection over union metric used for in-object detection? Option A. To measure the color intensity of pixels. Option B. To evaluate the overlap between a predicted bounding box and the ground truth box. Option C. To calculate the speed of the inference. Option D. To determine the depth of the image. The correct answer is B. IOU is a standard evaluation metric for object detection. It is calculated as the area of overlap between the predicted bounding box and the ground truth box, divided by the area of their union. An IOU score closer to 1 indicates a high degree of overlap and thus a more accurate prediction. It is often used to determine if a prediction is a true positive. E.g., if IOU greater than 0.5. What does LoRa, low-rank adaptation, accomplish during LLM fine-tuning? Option A. It trains all the parameters of the model from scratch. Option B. It freezes the original model weights and injects trainable rank decomposition matrices into each layer. Option C. It removes the attention mechanism to save memory. Option D. It only trains the output layer of the model. The correct answer is B. LoRa is a PEFT, parameter-efficient fine-tuning technique. Instead of updating the millions or billions of parameters in a large model, which is slow and expensive, LoRa adds small, trainable matrices to the transformer layers. This significantly reduces the number of trainable parameters, often by 10,000x, and the GPU memory requirements, while maintaining performance comparable to full fine-tuning. In principal component analysis, PCA, what is the goal of choosing the components with the highest eigenvalues? Option A. To ensure the data is normalized. Option B. To retain the maximum amount of variance in the data while reducing dimensionality. Option C. To eliminate the outliers in the dataset. Option D. To speed up the training of a decision tree. The correct answer is B. PCA is a dimensionality reduction technique. The eigenvalues represent the amount of variance explained by each principal component. Eigenvector. By selecting the components with the highest eigenvalues, we keep the dimensions that contribute most to the information spread of the data and discard the dimensions that represent noise or redundant information. Which component of a generative adversarial network, GAN, is responsible for determining if a sample is real or fake? Option A, the generator. Option B, the encoder. Option C, the discriminator. Option D, the decoder. The correct answer is C. A GAN consists of two networks, the generator and the discriminator. The generator tries to create fake data that looks real, while the discriminator acts as a judge, trying to distinguish between real data from the dataset and fake data from the generator. The two networks are trained simultaneously in a game-theoretic framework until the generator produces highly realistic samples. What is the main idea behind bagging, bootstrap aggregating, in algorithms like random forest? Option A. Training models sequentially, where each model corrects the errors of the previous one. Option B. Training multiple models in parallel on different subsets of the data and averaging their predictions. Option C. Using a single large model with multiple output heads. Option D. reducing the number of features before training a model. The correct answer is B. Bagging involves taking multiple random samples of the data, with replacement, and training a separate model on each sample. For classification, the final result is a majority vote. For regression, it's the average. This helps reduce variance and prevents overfitting. Random forest is the most famous example of bagging, as it also selects a random subset of features for each split in the trees. What is the chain of thought, COT, prompting technique? Option A. Connecting multiple LLMs in a sequence to solve a problem. Option B. Asking the model to explain its reasoning step by step before providing the final answer. Option C. Using a chain of different programming languages in a prompt. Option D. Limiting the model's output to only one word. The correct answer is B. Chain of thought prompting encourages the LLM to generate intermediate reasoning steps. This significantly improves performance on complex reasoning, mathematical, and symbolic logic tasks because it allows the model to think out loud and avoid making quick, intuitive errors. Simply adding, "let's think step by step," to a prompt is a common way to trigger zero-shot COT. What is perplexity in the context of language models? Option A. A measure of how fast the model generates tokens. Option B. A measurement of how well a probability distribution or probability model predicts a sample. Option C. The number of parameters in the neural network. Option D. The level of bias detected in the model's output. The correct answer is B. Perplexity is a standard metric for evaluating language models. Intuitively, it measures the uncertainty of the model. A lower perplexity indicates that the model is more confident and accurate in predicting the next token in a sequence. It is calculated as the exponentiated average negative log likelihood of a sequence. What does the term explainable AI, XAI, refer to? Option A. Using AI to write explanations for school textbooks. Option B. Creating models whose internal logic and decisions can be understood and interpreted by humans. Option C. An AI that can translate between 100 different languages. Option D. The process of documenting the hardware used for AI training. The correct answer is B. As AI models, like deep neural networks, become more complex, they often become black boxes, where it's hard to tell why a certain decision was made. Explainable AI focuses on techniques, like SHAP, LIME, or attention maps, that make the model's output transparent and understandable, which is crucial for high-stakes fields like healthcare, finance, and law. Which of the following is the most significant disadvantage of using a very small batch size? E.g., 1. In stochastic gradient descent? Option A. The model will always overfit immediately. Option B. The gradient updates will be highly noisy, leading to unstable convergence. Option C. It requires more GPU memory than a large batch size. Option D. The model cannot use the ReLU activation function. The correct answer is B. When the batch size is 1, true stochastic gradient descent, the weight update is based on a single random example. This makes the path toward the minimum very erratic or noisy. While this noise can sometimes help the model jump out of local minima, It generally makes the training process less stable and prevents the use of optimized matrix multiplication libraries that make batch training much faster. That concludes our 30-question deep dive into AI coding challenges. How many did you get right? Let me know your score in the comments below. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more technical deep dives. It really helps the channel. For a complete set of practice exams and the official certification path, check the link in the description below.